Let's try that again. Greetings, I'm Epictetus, and this is Epiktek. Welcome back, and I've done some work. I finished off this room, and we've got a little bit of a, I don't know, place that we're going to do a thing with someday. And I did some basic automation of the inscriber over here. I put a couple of hoppers on it, so it'll feed the top and the side here. And then since you can't have a hopper pointing up at the bottom, I put a chest and a transfer pipe with a transfer node. So anything we throw in there will get pushed up and placed into this bottom slot. Cool, huh? And then over here, I put some item conduit, and this is set to extract. And it puts it into the same chest, or actually I think it's a hopper now, that all of these guys pump into. So I can use these and it'll stick it in the system, and then I can use this and it'll stick it in the system. And then I put all of my presses here in this fruit basket because, well, why not put it in a fruit basket? I also, over here, melted down a few more items. I've got some cobalt and some aluminum brass and 2 drums. Why 2 drums with molten glass? I don't know. I don't know why 2 drums with molten glass, but I've got 2 drums with molten glass. I think it was just pumping it out of here so quick it couldn't put it in only one. I don't know. Oh, I know why. Because these are both equal distance. So it split it between the two. That makes sense. Anyway, and then I needed to make some tools and some things. So I set this fluid tank up just kind of temporarily to pull out. Or no, actually, this fluid tank puts stuff back in. And then I've got a fluid tank over here. So I can bring it by bucket over to make a tool. And then I can suck it out of this tank and into this tank, and then back into the drum it's supposed to go into. But that's very temporary. We're going to deal with that later. I don't want to deal with it right now. I just kind of wanted to show you if I'm walking around and you see all these colors, that's why. Why is my inscriber just, or my resonator just sitting here? I don't know. I'm going to put it in this chest with all these random things. These are kind of all the one-offs. There's no reason to keep them in the system. And then down here, finished off the wall of drawers, and it's almost entirely full of stuff. So we're going to need to do some kind of upgrade to deal with this stuff. And I have ideas. But we'll get there later. I know, I always say that. We'll get there later. We'll do it later. Someday. But I'll tell you what we're going to do today. Today, we're going to work on this. So as you can see, I've opened up a little bit more space. And we've got the drawer, not the drawer controller, the ME controller over here. And then I kind of just made a little junction off of this pipe and ran it over underneath because that's all it needs. It just needs power. So it's got power. And then this connects in over here. Now, why did I pull it way away from the main line like this? Because we're going to need to connect a lot more things to this. And I have plan. And I also made one more crafting terminal to put right here so that we can start working on these things. Now, today we're going to start working with automation. And I kind of want to make this room even bigger, but nah, we're good for now. Oh, maybe this direction. Should I make it bigger this direction? Yes. Not sure how far I can go this way before hitting open air. I think I might have just found it. There we go. There's open air. So one of the tools that I made in between is an excavator. This is a Tinker's Construct excavator. Clearly not the same thing as the immersive engineering excavator, which is a huge multi-block device. But this is really handy because it's just like the hammer, but with dirt and gravel and that kind of thing. I think I'm just going to remove all this and replace it with stone. And back to being a dark dungeon. Set up some lights. That's slightly better. By the way, when moving things into the ME terminal, if you double click on an item while holding shift, it'll throw all of that kind of item in. Just a quick little tip right there. All right. So now we've got plenty of space to work. And we're going to make, like I said, some automation. And the first step in automating ME stuff is getting patterns. So there's something called a pattern terminal. And I have already created one. It's made with a crafting terminal and an engineering processor, which is the one that uses diamonds. So it's not super cheap, but it's not too bad. And we're going to place that over, oh, I don't know. Let's place it here. We're not going to use it a ton. It looks just like the regular terminal, but you'll notice a couple of extra interface things here. They've got a place right here for blank patterns, which I have a bunch made over here. And I've already pre-made a bunch of the patterns that we'll get to in a bit. But if I set that in there, we can actually set up a pattern for something we want to be auto-crafted. So one of the things I find myself making a lot of is chests, because just everything needs chests. And so that's not a bad thing to make a pattern for. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, the easiest way to do that is to just find a chest in the system over here, pick a pattern, and I'm thinking I wouldn't mind having it made from wood. Like so it'll make 4 at a time. No, if it's auto crafting, it doesn't need to do that. We'll just have it use regular planks for that. And so it's going to look in the system. It's going to find we have oak planks. It's going to put those in there. It's going to put the chest over here. And all we have to do is hit this button, and we now have a pattern that makes a chest from oak planks. But I actually want to change that. Can I put that there? No. I think if I shift right click, or yeah, shift right click will clear a blank pattern, or will clear a pattern and make it blank. I want to make sure that this one allows or dictionary substitution. So it's allowed to use any planks it wants. It doesn't have to be oak. So now we're going to have the same thing, but it'll allow oak, or allow any kind of plank. But then what do we do with this pattern? How do we actually make it create that? And that's where we need, oops, let's go to the other one here. That's where we need a couple of other devices. So one of the things we're going to need is an interface. Now, an interface understands what a pattern is, and it's able to take the items required for a pattern and place them into something and let that thing craft, and then it pulls the output back into the ME system. So we could actually use an auto crafter from any one of the mods, but there's one built into ME, and it's called the molecular assembler. It's all fancy and stuff. So let's put this, I think that we can do it like this. Let's try like that. Yeah, okay, so the power does pass through this. So then we open up this interface and we can place the pattern in there. And if we were to go back in here and remove the chests, you'll see that it actually changes to craft. And if I click on this, I can tell it how many I want to craft. So I'm just going to say I want to craft one of these, but it's not going to work. Yeah, see how it says no crafting CPUs are available? So it needs something that's able to process and understand what order things need to be crafted in. And in this case, all we have is a chest. But let's say we didn't have any wood planks. All we had was wood. Well, I happen to have a pattern for wood. And we're going to throw that one in there too. So now this knows how to make both wood planks and chests. But in order to actually process and understand that this step needs to happen before this step and that kind of thing, it needs something called a crafting CPU. Now, a crafting CPU in and of itself is not a block. It's actually a combination of blocks. And I have one of those blocks right here called a 1K crafting storage. And this is the very basic. You need at least something like this. There we go. Now, by itself, give that a second, it goes online, okay. By itself, that will be able to craft some pretty basic things, and it's not going to have any problem. But then we can add to this, and we can make it into a multi-block. So I could add this direction, or I could start making it, 2x2 or 3x3, that kind of thing. Adding in either more storage or crafting coprocessors, which allows it to craft more than one thing at a time and that kind of thing. But we don't need to get to that quite yet. So now let's tell it to craft a chest. And you'll see that it's saying 34 bytes used out of a 1K processor. That's plenty, since that's 1,000 bytes. And it's saying we have 8 planks, so we don't need to make any. And then it's going to craft 1 chest. And it's going to automatically figure out which CPU it needs to use. Well, there's only one, so that's not really an issue. So now we'll hit start, and we're not going to be able to see this. Oh, we did. Nice. So you saw it for a second, the chest actually showing in there. It's very fast. And if I told it to make 100 of these, we'd be able to sit there and watch them be made, but didn't need to, so not going to worry about it. Now, there's one other kind of auto crafting that can happen, and that is machine auto crafting. What if you need, say, quartz dust? Well, that's crafted by putting quartz in the sag mill or something similar. Well, you do the same process. You actually have an ME interface, and it will place the item into the sag mill, and then it will take the output back out again. So let's go ahead and grab ourselves a sag mill. Oh, Fluix dust. That's something that I actually go through, and I want automatic. So let's grab Fluix dust and a Fluix crystal. I want to really quickly make sure. Yeah, so it's just a 1-to-1. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch this crafting pattern to a processing pattern. And I'm going to put 1 Fluix dust on this side. And I'm going to put 1 Fluix crystal on this side. And I'm going to create a pattern for it. And we can put those back. So we've got ourselves a pattern. We've got ourselves a sag mill. We need an interface. So I think I'm going to set these all up on this side of the room. I'm just going to go ahead and do this. And then for this one, it's nice and easy. We can just throw the interface there, sag mill there. I've already set this one up to be set to push-pull on the top. So that means it's allowed, the interface is allowed to push things in and pull things out. Now I can just set that dust right there. And if I want some Fluix dust, let me take these two out. I can hit craft, 1, start. It didn't take very long, but it made us 1 Fluix dust. Perfect. And like I said, I've got a whole bunch of pre-made patterns here. So let's go stick these in the right places. So nether quartz dust and glowstone dust. And then over here, I've got more interfaces, blank patterns, formulation and annihilation cores, quartz glass, quartz fiber, and glass cable. Perfect. Now, obviously, we've just run out of space for patterns, so we're going to need to make another one of those. And there's lots of different ways to do that. We could have another molecular assembler with another interface, or we can put another interface on this molecular assembler, which is probably what I'll do, especially for now. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure. Let's give this a try. I don't remember if I can get away with this. Will it pass through? Let's see. If I take all of these, I just put my ring into the system. Beautiful. Give me my ring. I'm going to put it down here. So will it be able to make a chest? Start. Yeah, it was able to make a chest. So you don't actually have to have a cable to each one of these. These are now connected through each other. And we now have room for a whole bunch more patterns. Good. I don't need this chest anymore. The other thing that I want to do today, and I have to make this a short episode today, or else I'm going to try to, because I'm running really short on time, and life keeps happening. You know, you want it to stop, but it just won't. Anyway, so the other thing we're going to do today is add in ME's storage. So this wall of storage right here, this is cheap. That's why I did this. It's really cheap to set this up. It's just wood, and you get more space, and you can do it all with a single storage bus. If I wanted to, I actually could put a whole bunch of chests and storage buses on all the chests, and that would be fine too, but that means making a whole bunch of storage buses, and those cost more than, you know, other things. But the way that ME is meant to work is they have a drive system. So the ME drive, which is not cheap, but I happen to have everything necessary for, the ME drive can be placed anywhere on the system, and I think I'm going to place it right here. No. I kind of like the idea of having stuff on the floor here. So I think we're going to do storage like this. There we go. So this has room for a whole bunch of storage units. And we're going to get into that. So if I search for cell, I'm going to find all of these guys. So this is a 1K ME storage cell, 4K, 16K, 64K. These are fluid cells, so we can eventually actually store fluids inside the system as well. And then there's spatial storage cells. Ignore those. I don't know that we'll ever get to those, though there are some really cool things there. Also, portable cells. I forgot about that. Portable cells are kind of like the golden bag of holding. I've never really played with them because I've always had something like a golden bag of holding, so I haven't really worried about it. But we're going to start off with a few 1K ME storage cells. And the reason we're starting with the 1Ks is they're designed to hold small quantities. Okay, let me explain how storage cells work real quick. So you can see there it says 0 of 1024 bytes used and 0 of 63 types. And as we go up in size, you can see that that top number, the number of bytes, increases, but the number of types does not. And that's because each one of these, this is kind of like these drawers, where this drawer can hold 4 different types and 8 stacks. But if I do an upgrade, it's still 4 different types, but it's a larger stack limit. So like this one has an upgrade in it that's allowing it to hold 256 stacks, still only 4 types. So you can think of it the same way. So a 1K will hold 63 types and, you know, not that many of each one. But we can upgrade it later. So I'm just going to go ahead and make one of these guys. Does it have to be charged? I don't think it has to be charged, does it? No, it does not. Okay. Do I just not have any other Certus? What's going on? Oh, I don't have any pure Certus. I don't really want to use these, but for right now, we're going to do this, and later on, we'll make some more pure Certus. I think I'm going to go ahead and make 2 of these while I'm at it. Also, these 1K storage components can be used in a few different ways. Apparently, you can use them in portable cells. That makes sense, I guess. But you can combine them with crafting units, or you can combine them with storage housings, or you can use 3 of them to make a 4K. So, kind of makes sense. And then this right here is literally a storage housing around a 1K unit. So if I click on that, you can see that the storage housings just have an empty space in the middle. But now I can do that, and I can make 2 of these guys. Okay. So let's go ahead and chuck, yeah, better than chests. That is true. I'm going to chuck a couple of those guys in there. And now, when I put things in here, they will either go into the drawers or they will go into here. Now, you can set up priorities. So this one right now has priority 0, and I went before and set this guy up to be, oh, I must have moved it after changing the priority. I want this to have a higher priority. It's fine if it goes in either one, but when this one starts to fill up, it's a little more difficult to figure out than this one over here. And so I kind of want things to go in here first, and then when this fills up, start going there. But better yet, if we start locking drawers over here, you know, I mean, some of these things are nice and organized. So I've got all my slime blocks over here, and I kind of want to lock that in and say, okay, you know what? That's slime. From now on, that's slime, and that's it. And then, you know, these guys are exactly what I want them to be. And, you know, I've got a void on this one, so I don't end up with too much of it. So, oh, I just noticed that my netherrack is full, and I don't have a void on it. And that means there's probably netherrack somewhere else. Yep, there it is. There we go. So we should probably actually get a void on that one too. But by having this as priority, I can do stuff like that. I can set this one up as a void or increase the stack limit very easily. Doing that kind of stuff in the ME system is definitely possible, but a lot more complicated. So that's why I want the priority on this storage bus to be higher than this. This is going to be more overflow. So once all of these drawers are full, then it will start putting things over there. I'm going to make a void really quick. There we go. That just destroyed all the extra netherrack. Okay. Oh, and I almost forgot. There's one other thing I want to do over here. So this slot right here is for grinding balls. And I'd really like for grinding balls to automatically be placed in here and always kept. I think the energetic ones are the ones that are reasonably priced, but also give a really good return. Yeah. So these energetic alloys are made in the alloy smelter from gold, glowstone, and redstone. That's reasonable. How are we doing on energetic alloy? So if I come over here, so if I place an energetic alloy in this space right here, what it's going to do is it's always going to try to keep one energetic alloy in this space right here, which is going to be visible. This is a phantom item, but this will be a real item. And this will see that as if there was a chest attached. It'll actually see that item. So those are all going to go into the system. Wow, they all got pulled into here. Let me do this over this way. So if I place those there, it's going to bring in one at a time, and this is going to pull in one at a time. And if it runs out in the system, this will go empty. I don't know if I'm explaining that very well. Basically, whatever you place in these top rows here, it's going to try to fill into these, which is visible as inventory. So the ME interfaces have multiple uses, and that's one of them, I guess. For example, I don't necessarily want to have to make a pattern to explain that iron ore can be turned into iron. I just always want to process iron ore. So I could place, I gotta do just one like this. I could place this like that, and it's going to always pull in all the iron ore possible. So we'll never store iron ore, we'll only be storing iron. We'll be storing iron dust and nickel grit and cobblestone and things like that, but still, you get the idea. Now, I don't actually want to do that yet, because I actually want to have multiple... Basically, I don't want to waste my grinding balls on iron ore, so I'm going to have another sag mill with another interface. And this sag mill will have no grinding balls in it, but this one will always have, you know, one of our top tier ones, and this will be for things like gold, if that makes sense. Also, I just realized that this doesn't have power, so we should probably get some power over here, huh? I'm thinking that it might make sense just to run power along the floor like this. Because we're going to have a lot of machines along here. Whoa! Glad I can fly. That was interesting. Okay. Yeah, that'll work. Do another interface. And I need to craft one. Make me an interface. I'm missing pure Certus. Darn it. Okay. Well, I think next time we will make an automated pure Certus thing. That's a little more complicated than just sticking an interface on a sag mill, because pure Certus and pure Fluix and pure quartz all need to be made into seeds and then set into water for a while. So it gets a little more complicated, is all I'm going to say. Now, there's plenty of ways to do it, don't worry, but we'll figure it out next time. I hope you enjoyed this abbreviated episode. Again, I'm sorry for the short episode, but real life calls, and I think we had some fun and got some stuff done. Got into some of the more technical details of applied energistics. I think we're going to need a screenshot of that. What do you think? Trust me, this room is going to get very complicated very quickly. And we're probably going to have to expand to another floor or something like that because, well, you can imagine how much is going to be in here doing crazy things and manufacturing stuff and whatnot. But we're off to a good start. And I'm excited about it. Are you? Let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, hit the alarm bell, give your sister a hug. I have a sister. You might not have a sister, but if you do, give her a hug. She needs it. And I'll see you next time on Epic Tech.